This is more about living in the time of the coronavirus epidemic. Self-reliance is really taking a pounding in this year 0 CE. It was the title of one of Emerson's better-known essays. Years ago, I lived in Vermont. That was home to hardy, self-reliant people. Yankees. If you couldn't cut it, you had to get out. Now it's the working base of Bernie panders. How the hell did that happen? The state motto for New Hampshire was, "Live free or die." That's pretty clear. I bet now it's, "We accept handouts," or "Bigger government is better government." It's hard to even try to be self-reliant when we're living in a nation that is beyond bankruptcy. Our money used to be backed by gold and silver. Then it was God. Now it's fairy dust. Our forefathers, who believed in self-reliance, would cringe if they could see us now. "How could this have happened?" they would say. "You have squandered everything." We could blame it on the virus, or we could say the fault is in the stars, but we know it is our own weakness. Our epitaph will read, "They wanted to have their cake and eat it, too." Or, "They were too busy pursuing happiness to take care of business." The head of the county commission was reporting on the numbers. I recall how she cried, she sobbed, when the first person died. Today, she announced that 400 people so far have been killed by the virus in this county, and she did it without the blink of an eye or a tremor in her voice. And she segued immediately into a discussion of federal dollars available to the county to defend ourselves from the virus. Let's hear it for those federal dollars. A city council member who was going to run for mayor and probably win has been indicted on fraud and bribery charges. He is now on paid leave, essentially on vacation, while he defends himself. It's assumed that he will not be running for mayor, at least not in the next election. And so now there is suddenly a host of candidates for that position. The way I see it, the mayor's chair is a nice piece of cheese, and a bunch of rats have shown up to claim it. Such is my estimation of and contempt for those who would lead us. They don't want to lead as much as they want to appear to be in a position of power. They want that cheese. I call our current mayor the panhandler because he's always saying he has no money. The city is in debt. Nevertheless, a huge project is underway near our home, the construction over what was railroad track of a brand new bike and hiking path. This has been proposed for years, but there was no money for it, and there were bridges to be built, yet now it is taking shape with no debate and no expenses spared. They are doing a great job. It's beautiful. They must be many millions over budget if there ever was a budget. But it is a legacy for future generations. I wonder what the panhandler's cut in it was. That is known as democracy in action. Of course, it is depressing to think about this. Fantastic projects being built with no money to fund it. Sinking so low. Many of the realities we now face daily are depressing. We know it could get worse, and it probably will. I hear all the time that many people are seriously depressed, and that the suicide numbers are high. The holiday season is a big time for suicides, and that may reach an extreme in this year CE. Is something like that made for kids? Yep. How do you explain suicide to a child? Our state now has a new hotline for people to use when they feel depressed. I can't imagine calling and talking to a stranger, but maybe that helps, especially for people who are isolated with no one they can talk to. The slogan for the hotline is, "It's all right to feel bad." I wonder how many kids make that call. And wouldn't the social workers on those phones need counseling, hearing that wave of depression all day and all night? People who worked hard and lived on the cheap to pay off their student loans are the ones most offended by plans to forgive those loans. Just as people who immigrated legally oppose open borders and citizenship for all. Someone contacted me moaning about how bad it will be when the Pander Man is in office. I replied by saying, we may be lucky to have him. If we lose him, if he steps aside due to poor health, or if he died, then we could be in real trouble. That might be the last stand for self-reliance.